KPRC2 celebrates Black History Month, and today we are highlighting the Blue Helmets in action.
The 93rd Infantry Division was the first African-American combat division to be activated during World War II. KPRC2's Rochelle Turner takes us on a tour and explains how one Houston museum is educating others about what it was overlooked, about a unit that was overlooked.
Inside the Buffalo Soldiers National Museum in Midtown is an exhibit that's full of history. It's called the Blue Helmets in Action. And I want to introduce you to Mr. Cale Carter, who's going to tell us all about it.
The 93rd Division at the time comprised of 4 black infantry regiments. Most of them came from National Guard units from New York, Illinois, the Washington, D.C. area in the Northeast, but you also had a black draftee regiment that came from South Carolina that was part of them as well.
How did they get that name?
Even though they were U.S. soldiers, when they were sent to the French Army, they retained their U.S. uniforms, but they were given French equipment, such as French helmets and rifles.
The formation of the 93rd Infantry Division consisted of about 15,000 troops. The group faced many challenges.
In World War I, you're talking about mostly soldiers from the North who had limited interactions with Jim Crow, but when you talk about the 93rd in World War II, you're pretty much talking about guys who had to interact with Jim Crow laws. And keep in mind, too, the military at the time was a very southern institution.
While the 93rd Division was training at Fort Huachuca, Arizona in 1942, Carter says the soldiers were involved in the cotton crisis. The governor wanted them to pick cotton, but the black press pushed back.
You're basically trying to get black soldiers who are training to sea service overseas to pick cotton when they should be focusing on training.
After traveling to different states, the 93rd was sent to the South Pacific to train and unload ships. And in 1944, they made history.
They were deployed to Bougainville, and this is where they become the first elements of a black combat division to see combat action anywhere in World War II.
The war eventually came to an end in 1945, but the history of the Blue Helmets continues to live on through their stories, uniforms, insignia, and even letters from Sergeant Daniel Thornton Jr., who died from complications from the war. Carter says he wants others to understand that the unit did exist and they had many accomplishments.
Particularly being the first black division to be raised, their accomplishments in the Pacific Theater, but then also kind of to be able to reflect on the legacy of not only this unit, but other black units who may not be as well known.
The exhibition will end on June 30th. To learn more about the Blue Helmets, look for this story on our website at clicktohouston.com. For KPRC2 News, I'm Rochelle Turner.
Fascinating.